Question?
So you guys aren't going to be here all day.
No, we'll be here in the morning, and then we'll leave at about 10, and then we will get back about 2 for gym class. So we have study hall in the morning, then we have chapel, and then we'll have a little bit of time together, whether I decide to do math, algebra, science with them. We'll go on our trip, come back, and have gym. So it'll be a really, really nice day. Yeah.
I want to miss you, best friend. You said you're best friend.
All right, fractions and decimals. Let's go decimals to fractions first. We're going to convert both. So let's first of all explore how we transform, convert, what have you, decimals to fractions. Now every decimal can be written as a fraction, just like every fraction can be written as a decimal. There are different procedures for each, and they have their own rules. However, nothing that is impossible, nothing you haven't already most likely seen. Let's start with the basic. When I see the number in red up on the board, I could take the easy way, I could take the shortcut, I could just call it 0.9. 0.9 doesn't necessarily help me as much when I want to put this decimal into fraction form. However, if I want to call it by its proper name, that 0.9 is really what, Willie? But I wouldn't say it like that. Sydney? 9/10. Just like if I asked you to write down 9/10 as a fraction, that would be easy. You would say 9/10. Same thing. Now, there's a trick. Some of you don't all know the names of those place values as well. You know, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. So if we say one place after the decimal would mean 1 0 in your denominator, that would work just as well. Okay? Just like if you had 18 hundredths, 2 places after the decimal would mean 2 zeros in your denominator with 18 on top. However, if it can be simplified, then we must simplify and say 18 and 100 are both divisible by, Trinity, 2. Therefore, 18 becomes a 9, the 100 becomes a 50, and 18 hundredths as a fraction in simplest form would then be 9/50ths. Any questions on the first two? Yes? Now, if you were to have a decimal like that, again, you would say that 5 is occupying your 100th place. How would I write that as a fraction, Josiah? 5 over 100, which would become in simplest form, since they both have 5 in common, 5 divided by 5, 1 and 20. Okay? Again, not sure. 2 places after the decimal means 2 zeros in your denominator. Okay? It's a good place to start. Sometimes you will see even like this. Your 8 is now occupying what place? The 1,000th place. 8 over 1,000 can be simplified because not only do they have 2 in common, but they also have what, Raven? 4. That would be a 2, and that would be 250. Now, you might chop it down. You might decide, you know what, 4 is a little bit much to swallow. I'm just going to cut them in half and say 4, cut the 1,000 in half, 500. Oh, look at that. They're still even. Cut them in half again. And still get there. It's dangerous to do it that way because we're more apt to stop before we're actually done. Okay? They're still even. Right? They're still even because not only did they have 4 in common, they had 8 in common. Because we're not done with 2 over 250. Both even. So cut the 2 in half, you get a 1. Cut 250 in half, really? 120. Okay? So it's very easy to stop, like we almost did. Just got to be careful. What do we do with mixed numbers? Or, decimals that have a whole number? Let's try 3 75/100ths. So, right, the 3 in front, the number in my ones place, will stay a whole number. 75 over 100 then gets converted to what in simplest form? 3/4. Okay, so the whole number will just kind of transfer itself over. Not a big deal. Okay, try a couple. Try those two. The ones I saw were good. The 6 is in the 10th place. Just don't forget, they're both even. Simplifies to 3/5. Both even. 5 and 8 over 100. Okay. Now, 8 and 1,000 have 8 in common, but not 8 and 100. So both divisible by 2, but also divisible by 4. So Trinity. 4/50th, which breaks down to 2, cut the 50 in half. 5 and 2/25th, okay? 4 and 50 is still even. Can break them down one more time. Any questions on? Oh, let's try one more. All right, so it's best. I see a lot of you that are working through this one, but not. It's best to just kind of see it how it is first. And we went through divisibility rules, like one of the first lessons. So if that ends in a 5, that ends in a 0, I know that they're both divisible by 5. So if I don't know what 405 is divided by 5, then I just have to do the work. 8 is 40, and 1, so 81 on top, 1,000 divided by 5, 200. Okay? How do I know for sure that this is it, though? It is, but how do I know for sure? Willie? Especially like, there's your 200. You know what 200 is divisible by. You know it's divisible by 2, 5, 10, 4, 25. Are any of those ringing a bell for 81? When you think 81, what do you think? You think of like 3, 9, okay, 27 maybe if you're really on it. But if they don't have any of those in the same, then you're good. Okay? So that's half of it. The other half would be fractions to decimals. Okay? So just like we said, any decimal can be put into a fraction, any fraction can be written as a decimal. I don't know which one is easier. It's just a different process for each. So if we were to say, I don't know, give me a fraction. Give me a regular fraction. Sure, 3 over 4. What I need to do is, as you progress, maybe not this year, but next year, you'll see that as 3 over 4, 3/4, but you may also see it as a certain kind of problem. Is that an addition problem, subtraction, multiplication, division? What is that? What could that be besides just a regular fraction? Yeah. division. And if it is a division, your number on the bottom always goes on the outside when you divide. How do you know you've got the right number in the right place? Think about it. 3/4, as it stands right there. Does that give you a value that is less than 1 whole or greater than 1 whole? Less. How do you know? Because your numerator is smaller than your denominator. So if you start dividing and you start right away with a 0, what's left is going to give you a value that's less than 1 whole. How do you know? Because there's 0 in your ones place. So then we can finish it off. 4 into 20, 5. 0.75, 7/500. Now, if you had it in the wrong place, you decided to put the 3 on the outside and the 4 on the inside, you start off right away with what number in your ones place? A 1. That can't be right. 3/4 doesn't give you a value that's greater than 1 or even equal to 1. So you should be able to figure out real quick. But a general rule, denominator always goes on the outside. Be another fraction. 2/5. 5 goes on the outside, 2 on the inside, and we're well past remainders. 5 does not go into 2, however, 5 goes into 20 4 times. There's your decimal. Seven ninth. 9 on the outside, 7 on the inside, 9 going to 7, 9 to 70. Yes. And it's 63. 9 to 70. How am I going to shorten this up, Sadie? Any of the 7s, let's just use that first one, right? Okay, called a repeating decimal. Yes? Visitor? Okay. Okay. Trinity, question? You have to go? Yes, you have to go? Okay. Do you need the homework? Do you need the homework? Let me just make sure I got the right number of problems for you. Come here. Bring your sheet up here. I'll write it down. I don't want to say it out loud in case anyone starts to... Okay? Here's your pen.
Is there any extra credit in this or what?
No, I gave you extra credit yesterday. Oh, there's a redo.
Well, Mr. Red, well, I hope it's...
All right, Trinity, hold on.
I like the reasonable number is 15. The reasonable number.
Okay, Trinity? Okay, here's one. Do it. 1/6. 1/6. Okay, so the 6 on the outside, 1 on the inside. 6 does not go into 1, it goes into 10 once. 4 left, drop a 0, and it's 6 times. 4 left, drop a 0, 6 times. Repeating, however, what is repeating? Just the 6, therefore, the bar just goes over the 6. You guys were trained well. Now, every once in a while, you'll come across a fraction like this, and right away you notice that that's what kind of a fraction. Now, does this fraction have a value that is less than or greater than 1 whole? What number still goes on the outside? Or the 3 at the bottom, right? So don't be alarmed if you say, oh, look, I've got a 1 here already. You're supposed to. Then 3 into 10. 3 into 10. Whoops. So 1.3, the bar just over the 3. Okay. Any questions? We good? Worksheets 3-8s, blue one. Four through 27. 4 through 15, write each decimal as a fraction or a mixed number in simplest form. 16 through 27, write each fraction or a mixed number as a decimal. Okay? 4 through 27. I put the redo up there already, but I'll scan back to the screen that had it up there. Let me just write this one down first.